So you describe yourself as the Fat Fitness Instructor. Can you share the story behind that label and why reclaiming the word fat means so much to you?
Oh, such a great question. I would say I only recently started using the word fat and associating it with being a fitness instructor. And the reason I started doing that is because two things. On a very neutral level, it's the most accurate descriptor of me and my body. I'm not overweight because that implies that there's a smaller weight that I should be. I'm not obese because that's based on the BMI, which is really flawed, sexist,
Right.
racist science.
Yeah.
So that's one part, is it's just the most accurate descriptor of me. And then the other part is I spent, like most women, the vast majority of my life in fear of gaining weight. And I spent years obsessively chasing a thin and smaller body. Now that I'm in a bigger body, I'm actually the most healthy and the most confident that I've ever been.
I love
And
that.
so it's reclaiming that word fat and saying it's not a bad thing. And especially when it comes to fitness, that both can be true at the same time. I can be fat and I can be a fit, active, healthy individual. So yeah, that's why I started saying I'm a fat fitness instructor and I'm
I love
proud.
it. I love that. It's so great. Okay. So, what was the turning point that made you shift away from traditional fitness culture and then into kind of a more body positive coaching?
It came as a result of both my own experience losing weight and really realizing that didn't bring the happiness and the kind of answers that was looking for when it came to body confidence and self-esteem and self-worth. But then also when I was interacting with all the women that were coming to my classes and that I was working with as clients and seeing this repetition of like we were all experiencing the same thing. We were all chasing the same feeling and struggling with things when it came to fitness, especially with like consistent movement. So that's when I started to research the anti-diet movement, the fat positive, body positive movement, and really realized that there was something there. There was some good stuff there.
Yeah. I love that.
So yeah, that was the turning for me
Hmm.
is after being in fitness for a while and seeing my own fitness journey, I realized that I needed different answers. I needed a different way to look at fitness, to look at my body and how to heal that relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's so important because I think so many women, even, I mean, even Cindy Crawford says she wakes up not looking like Cindy Crawford, right? So we have that expectation of this is what we need to look like. And when we fall short in any way, shape, or form, where it's like, oh, well, I am a loser, or we like put a different, labels on our body, whether we fit into the BMI or we're on the other end of the spectrum, right? There's always I think it's such a typical thing for women to just not feel good in their skin. So I love what you do.
Yeah, and social media definitely doesn't help with all the filters and the photo editing, all of
Yeah,
that.
exactly. I know that just adds to it. That's good.
Exactly.
Okay, so what messages did you grow up believing about your body? And then how's that kind of evolved over time?
I grew up in a really small body. I was naturally very thin growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother was a little bit heavier. So that resulted in a very constant message of thin is better and being bigger is bad. My mom was constantly trying to lose weight. There was constantly this when I gain that was being played, like I'll wear that type of clothing when I lose weight. I'll wear the swimsuit once I'm smaller. Oh, I'm too big to pull that off. So that started really young for me, an obsession with at the time maintaining my thinner body. And again, as I mentioned, this kind of fear of gaining weight.
Yep. Yep.
Then when I got older and my body started to change, there was a lot of confusion there and feeling like somehow I had personally failed by gaining weight. So, um, yeah, the strong message was that thinner is better, thinner is healthy, thinner is more desirable, more attractive, and fat is kind of the antithesis to all those things. The turning point was when
Well,
I
I
got,
think that
oh, go
also,
ahead.
just to piggyback really quick,
Hmm.
that you bring up such an incredible point, right? And
Hmm.
we hear this a lot on Facebook and different posts or whatever, but you know, really, as moms, what we say about our bodies, what we say about the food that we eat, what we say, like all those things, our girls are watching. Like they are taking that in. And so if you're like, oh, I'm too fat. Look, oh my gosh, look at how my stomach pooks out. Look at this, look at that. Then they're like, oh, well, if mom's stomach pooks out, does my stomach pook out? And if it's not okay for moms, it's not okay for me. And like that conversation that you have to yourself, like you as a mom are building that self-talk in your daughter and even a lot of times in your sons, right? So I
Yeah.
love that point that you brought up. So what
Yeah, and especially when my body started to look like hers,
mm-hmm.
that was a really confusing
Yeah.
place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what was
Hmm.
the turning point for you?
Well, especially as I got older and I became so aware of that when I game that my mom was playing,
Hmm.
it broke my heart because I felt like I saw her missing out on life, missing out on doing the things that she wanted to do. And the more I read about body positivity and kind of the amount of time and energy that women spend worrying about their weight, worrying about their looks, spending, the average woman spends 17 years of her life on a diet.
Hmm.
I think about the fact that like the world is missing out on like 50% of the populations. It's missing out on their voice and their memories and their presence and their ideas. And that was a real shift in kind of like my passion and my why I wanted to do the things that I do is that I it's not just about fitness for me. Fitness is kind of like the what's the word that I'm looking for? Fitness is the vehicle of how we can build women's confidence and help them feel comfortable taking up space, help them feel strong in their bodies and feel capable in their bodies so that they can actually go out and do the things.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
be seen, to be heard, to take
Absolutely.
up space.
That's such a great point, though, because I don't know how many women put off whatever it is, right? Like, I'm going to go on a cruise when I lose weight. I'm going to go to the beach and
Hmm.
walk confidently when I lose weight. I'm going to go and do whatever that looks like when you lose weight. And, like,
Hmm.
really, life is happening now. And so,
Yeah.
if you can be confident in your body and confident in who you are, then you can live such a much fuller, richer life because you're happy and confident. But it's so easy to say that and to talk about it and just go, oh, I need to do that. It's so easy to see and read the things that say, mom, wear the swimsuit, get out there, do whatever, right? And I think you just have to be in such a space where you are comfortable in your body because
Mhm.
people are mean. Whether you're super skinny or not or whatever, like there are going to be comments and you just have to say, you know what? I like me for who I am. I don't really care if you like me in a bikini because I like me in a bikini, right? Or I don't really care what you do because I like me. And so it's
Yeah.
just about coming to that evolution piece, of like, no, okay, well, if you don't like it, you don't have to look because I want to wear it or I want to do it or I want to
Mhm.
be it, right? I can be strong in who I am no matter if I weigh 99 pounds or I weigh 299 pounds, right?
And I think a big part of that is recognizing the role of diet culture, both in the stories that we tell ourselves, but also the reason behind why other people make comments, why other people are so mean.
Yeah.
That's something that I teach so many of my clients is this idea that hurt people, and that if they're saying something like that about your body, there's such an internalized script that they're probably applying to their own body or their own weight.
Hmm.
And you can find a sense of compassion in that and not take it as personally because
Yeah,
you know that like
absolutely.
it's not really about you.
Well, and I think there's so much freedom in really expanding that, because I'm a why girl, right? Like I want to know why things say what things
Hmm.
happen, why those things, right? So like if I know why you're saying those things to me, like if I can really wrap my mind around, it's not about me, it's about them. And like people say that all the time, but like when you really get that concept of it really is about them, they really are saying those things because of something that is inside them. It has absolutely
Hmm.
nothing to do with you. And if you were not there, they would be talking about somebody else on the beach or somebody else in the store or somebody else wherever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, if I want to buy an entire cart full of Hostess Twinkies, you don't really get to say you don't live at my house. So, whatever.
Plus, cookies are delicious.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Go for it. I love that. So you talk a lot about joyful movement. What does that look like, especially for someone who might have kind of a complicated relationship with exercise or food?
yeah. So I like to kind of explain this as the kind of opposition to traditional exercise.
Hmm.
The traditional exercise, if you think about the way that we're taught about fitness and the way that diet culture sets up what exercise is supposed to be, as adults, there's a very limited choice of what is considered to be acceptable, worthwhile exercise. So it has to burn a certain amount of calories. It has to be hard. You have to get sweaty. It has to be, something that makes you sore the next day. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be fun. You're
Right.
supposed to have like the matching workout wear. And there's these
Yes.
weird rules of like, we feel pressure that you already have to be in shape in order to belong at a gym.
Mhm.
There's not really space for beginners. There's not really space for bigger bodies. And so most of the time when we're thinking about traditional exercise, that's kind of the picture I like to paint.
Yep.
So joyful movement, on the other hand, the only purpose is about making you and your body feel good. So it's much more of a qualitative measure of success compared to the quantitative kind of measure of how many pounds you've lost or how many inches you've lost or how many calories you've burned. We use questions like, do you feel better than before you started? Did you spend time connecting with your body? Did you spend time uh, playing in your body? Did you enjoy yourself?
Yep.
And it opens it up for much more variety. It opens it up that there's a much more, right, let me try that again. It means it means that there's much more of a variety of movement that's considered acceptable and worthwhile.
Hmm.
And so it makes it easier to work out because you no longer like, for me, for example, like I would always force myself to go on the treadmill, even though I hate going on the treadmill.
Right.
I would get so bored. And now it's so much easier to motivate myself to move because I'm choosing movements that either I find super fun, like dancing, or something like lifting weights that makes me feel really good in my body and that I know is really intricately linked with my mental health and the way that I want to feel. So um, that's when we talk about joyful movement. That's the picture that I'm painting there, is that it's much more about your own joy, a sense of play, and creating a lot of acceptance for listening to how your body feels and choosing different types of movements based on that.
Yeah, and I think there's something about coming together in a group, right? And doing work together because like you just have a great, especially if you're just there to have a good time. Like if I'm there to judge, whatever makeup so and so's wearing or how skinny they are, like it just takes the fun, right? It sucks the air right out of the room, right? But if you're just there
Hmm.
because everybody's there just to have a good dance party, it's like, okay, we have a dance party every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 o'clock. Sounds much better than I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go to body
Exactly.
pump.
And it takes it out of that should realm, right? Of like, a lot of times we spend so much time shoulding ourselves of like, I should go to the gym because I'm supposed to, because this is what makes me healthy,
Yeah.
versus I get to go to the gym. I want to go to the gym
Yeah.
because it's something that makes my life better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, can you break down what the non-scale victories are and why they matter more than numbers?
Yeah, so that's kind of going hand in hand with what we just talked about of joyful movement. So it's non-scale victories are celebrating your progress when it comes to movement, when it comes to body acceptance, when it comes to your confidence that have nothing to do with your weight or the number on the scale.
Yep.
So my favorite messages are when I get from clients, they tell me I got one today that was like, she sent me a picture of her on her beach vacation with her two kids. She was holding hands with them and she was in a bikini. And she's like, I wore a bikini at the beach and I had fun and I wasn't thinking about how what I looked like.
I love it.
Um, but it can also be things like, especially when we bring it back to movement, it can be things like ability-based goals. So looking at, okay, what can you not do in your life right now that you want to be able to do? So some of
Mhm.
those celebrations are things like I was able to climb the stairs to my apartment without getting out of breath. I was able
Yeah.
to get down on the floor and play with my grandkids and then get up off the floor without pain. I was able to walk or run that 5K race to, raise money for my favorite charity, things like that, that again are about function and ability and what you can do
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than what you look like.
I love that. And I think that, that just makes things a lot more individual, right? Like
Hmm.
I'm, I'm not fighting with Susie in the gym. I'm like comparing myself to myself. Okay.
Exactly.
Yesterday I could not do the, step ball chain thing that we did last week, but I can this time. And so like it just
Exactly.
like creates a whole new focus, which I love.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and it feels again when we talk something I talk about so often with clients is motivation of many of us feel like we're not super motivated to move or we struggle with feeling motivated to move.
Yep.
And having those whys that really resonate with you and connect with something deeper inside yourself are what helps to keep that motivation and to stay connected to it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so Love Your Body, Loyobo, is a safe, inclusive, trauma informed space. How do you go beyond buzzwords to make that life a reality?
Yeah, so part of it is the fun in the name. Loyobo, I love watching people try to pronounce it, and it breaks down barriers right away of just like it's fun, it's playful, it's silly. And I love how you asked that question about moving beyond just buzzwords. That's just some of the feedback I get from my clients a lot is that I don't just walk the walk and sorry, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk.
Yep, yep,
And part of how I do that is being really open about the journey, being really open about what it's like to go through this process. So I share a lot of my own mental health struggles, and I always make sure that I'm not putting myself up on a pedestal of like, I have it all figured out. I have no bad body image days. I wake up and feel great all the time.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And so part of that is teaching the skills of how to do things like emotional regulation, how to handle hard days, how to anticipate, exactly as you said, unwelcome comments or mean comments about your body or about what you're eating from people in your circle or strangers on the street, how to handle that and have the tools so that those things don't completely throw you and um, ruin your day. Part of that also too is making sure that within the community we're having conversations about oppression, about why weight stigma matters so much, about what it means to exist in marginalized bodies,
Yep.
about the sexism and racism that is at the heart of fat phobia and recognizing its existence. So we try to really hold space for all of those kind of like uncomfortable, messy,
Yeah.
difficult conversations. And we're really exploring like so much more than fitness. So we have things like journaling hours or workshops where we're having these conversations and encouraging that kind of self-reflection and also that sharing between one another. So that's how we try to really go beyond just, fitness is for everybody. We're really trying to make a difference both in each individual's life, but also in the community and kind of the world as a whole.
Yeah, that's great. It's like an onion, right? So like the outside, maybe the physical fitness, you pour that apart, and then it's, the next one is, how you relate to others, and then you tear that apart, like how do you relate to yourself, right? So it's like
Yes.
all these layers of different things that you have to talk about, but it's not just about putting on the cool suit and going in, doing the step ball chain, but it's about really getting to the heart of where you are and really getting to the heart of where you want to go and how to get there. And you're giving them the
Mhm.
tools to live a life that is full and wonderful, right? And
Yeah.
it's just amazing. I love the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Someone once told me the other day, she sent me a little testimonial, and she was like, when I joined, I thought I was joining an exercise program, and you ended up healing my mind, body, and soul. And I was like, yes,
Yes, that's
that's
awesome.
exactly the point.
Right on the right path where we need you. Okay.
Exactly.
So, what would you say to the woman who's exhausted from years of dieting, but afraid to stop chasing thinness?
Great question. And I think that that's where a lot of women start. This idea that maybe intellectually you know that diets don't work, or maybe intellectually you know that achieving that really small thin body isn't something that's realistic or achievable for you. But it can be really hard to emotionally accept that
Hmm.
and grieve the loss of that kind of dream or vision of again what you're supposed to look like.
Yep.
So number one is I want you to try to have so much grace with yourself
Yeah.
and be really kind to yourself because it's not easy work to undo that story and it does take time.
Yep.
The next thing I would say is to be really curious with yourself. So when we think of like the self-talk and the stories that you tell yourself and the rules that you maybe have around fitness or your body or food, to get curious about whether or not they're yours,
Yeah.
whether or not there's something that is based on your values, what you believe about yourself and the world and the way that you want to feel, or if there's something that's been given to you, either for many of us, it's from our childhood and what our parents taught us, or what it's the mainstream media, or as you said, that comparison game that we've kind of learned over time. And it's through that curiosity that we can become aware of those stories and those rules and that self-talk that holds us back.
Yep.
And then we can choose something different from ourselves. So that's really kind of the first step is being curious, starting to become aware and noticing where things are from and the stories that are there. And third, what I would want to tell them is you are not alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are not alone. And to really seek out that community, whether it's, a great first step is following someone like myself or other bodies on social media so that you can see, you know, I'm not the only fat fitness instructor in the world. There are
Yeah.
tons of other fat content creators that show what it's like to live a happy, healthy, fulfilled life in a larger body and to start to have those role models that you can see and build that new vision for yourself.
Yeah, I think sometimes the greatest distance is the 12 inches or so between our head and our heart, right? Like our head,
Oh, I
whether
love
it's,
that.
people have said things and they're ingrained in our brain and we have to like, and we, really believe them and like really having to distance ourselves from, taking a step back and going, wait, this is what my brain is saying, but that's not really who I am. Right.
Hmm.
And, this is who, my mom, deep in the recesses of my brain, is saying about herself. And so I internalized that or whatever that looks like,
Mhm.
because it doesn't matter what size you are. You have to be able to let go of that in order to have the fulfilled life that you were created for.
Exactly. And write your own rules that work
Yeah,
for your body and your
absolutely.
life.
Absolutely. I know. And sometimes, it just takes somebody to give us that permission, right? To write our own rules. It's okay. You can write, you can do whatever you want. It's your life, right? Yes.
Well, and so much of it too is also having somebody that points out the rule
Yeah.
of like, did you know that that's there? Did you know that that's impacting like kind of
Yeah.
your decisions and how you feel? And then it's like, oh, right. Okay. I don't have to, as you said, I have
Yeah.
permission to do something different, to do something different for myself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's also that piece of I personally worked with moms who had a really traumatic childhood, say. And as a result, because of the trauma, they gained weight to kind of put that distance between, okay, well, I just want to appear less than because it's so traumatic, right? And so how revolutionary to be, like, you're not less than, right? And so, like, you do such a great job in your program to, like, get in there and see what is holding you back, right? You do a great
Mhm.
job of going in there and seeing, is this childhood trauma? Well, we can, like, take care of that and free you of that. And then it doesn't matter what your body looks like, right? You don't have to
Yeah.
have that, carry that weight, literally, of what happened, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So can you share a powerful oh, you already kind of did, but can you share another transformation story? Someone who came into your group feeling defeated and then left empowered.
Mm, good question. I often call them my graduates is when they end up not needing me or the community anymore, if that makes
Oh
sense.
yeah,
Like
you're working
they
yourself out of a job.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, I'll give an example of I'm trying to think of which story I want to share. I'll share Jennifer's story because I know that she'll be okay with me using her real name and things like that. Um, Jennifer has been in the community for a while, and she has kind of a long history of a rocky relationship with her body, especially because she had to have some surgeries that removed parts of her intestines. And she has some mental health stuff that just always made her feel like she was at war with her body.
Yep.
And like you said, she had some people in her life who were making some really unkind comments about her weight and the way that her body looks.
Yep.
And through being part of the community and working with me and being a part of the program, she has changed her confidence so much and often sends me now bikini pictures of like she's in Mexico with her parents and she's rocking the two keys. And she has also stepped into a space of appreciating her body a lot more and
Mhm.
almost forgiving it for the different challenges that it's had, which I think is such an important piece of that journey of not constantly wishing that it functioned differently or that she didn't have some of the issues. She's seen kind of the beauty of the journey and her own unique body. So she's definitely one of my success stories.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that if you go to your website, there's lots and lots of stories that people have shared that so that
Mhm.
if you're listening and you just like, oh, well, I'm interested in seeing some of the things that have happened, you can go to your website, and I will put the link and all that thing in the description when I send this out. So of course you can go and listen. So what needs to change about how we talk about health, especially in schools, doctors' offices, and social media?
I think there's two things that I want to point out. So number one is separating out health from weight and making them not synonymous, that healthy equals a smaller, thinner body, because that's just simply not true. in every case. Like I'm an example of it is I had so many health issues that came up when I was in a smaller body. I was constantly fatigued. I had terrible acne all over my neck and chest. I was hungry all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was something that felt sustainable. So that's number one is I think separating out this idea of health from your weight and what your body looks like. The other important piece to that conversation, um, I think, is recognizing the dangers of healthism. And healthism is this idea of that we're chasing health at all costs. Sometimes this presents itself in conversations like the body positive conversations of like the caveat of like, as long as you're healthy. And it creates this kind of ableism that shames both instances where we're not healthy or those of us who just don't have healthy bodies. To use myself as an example, I've always struggled with my mental health since I was a very young age. It has nothing to do with my weight now. It has a lot to do with being a woman and hormonal cycles and, hereditary aspects of having anxiety, things like
Yeah.
that. And so there are times when I don't feel healthy and I don't feel my best. And yet I know that that has nothing to do with my self-worth. It has nothing to do with the value that I bring to the table as a
Yep.
human and that I'm still, deserving of love and good things and respect. So I
Absolutely.
think that those are the two aspects of recognizing that it's okay to not chase health if to not chase health at every cost. That there are times when being unhealthy is okay and you're still again deserving of love and respect. And then also separating that health is not synonymous with being small.
No, that is so good. That is so good. So how can moms start modeling body confidence for their kids, even if they're kind of still learning how to love themselves?
Yes. I think first of all, as I said, that idea of getting curious and being mindful about your language. So part of that is being neutral around food. So removing the labels of good versus bad food. That could be something as simple as just serving dessert alongside whatever you're eating in your
Mm-hmm.
entree as the main meal and giving your kids the autonomy to listen to their bodies and choose what feels good in that moment, how much they want to eat, encouraging them to stop when they feel full. Same thing with the language when it comes to your body of something as simple as not putting yourself down in front of them,
Yep.
not commenting on yours or other people's weights. Or
Yep.
I'm going to take that even one step further, not commenting on yours or other people's
Yep.
bodies. Or if we are commenting on our bodies, focusing again on what we can do, how our bodies move, how our bodies function, rather than what it looks like. Those are really powerful actions to take. And I think opens the door to having some really great conversations with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's great. It's good because they are listening and they are watching for sure.
Yes. Yes.
So, what is your hope for the next generation of girls growing up in the world that is obsessed with skin, thin equals worthy?
Great question. My hope is that, as I said, like the biggest reason why I do what I do is wanting women to have a voice, wanting women to be okay with being seen and being heard. So I hope that they're able to have that self-esteem and self-worth that's unshakable, meaning that no matter what my body looks like, no matter what I weigh, if I'm thinner, if I'm smaller, if I'm bigger, if I'm fatter, all of that doesn't change my worth. All of that doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to show up in my life
Yeah.
and participate and take up space. That would be my hope. I don't know if we're there yet, I think
Right.
there's still a lot of work that we have to do both individually and kind of as a society as a
Yep.
whole. But I think that having conversations like you and I are having right now are some great steps to get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there's definitely room to grow.
Hmm. Yes,
Okay.
still, especially in the fitness space, there's still a lot of work that can be done. But every day I come across a new, like, fat positive, anti-diet fitness instructor, and I'm seeing that there is change there.
Yeah, that's so great. I love that, especially as we have so many um different variants of the shot that is currently available, right? You
Yes.
you can lose 75 pounds. You can lose this, and all
Yes.
you have to do is shoot yourself with this, shot
Hmm.
every day.
Hmm.
Um, and I know that, I think so many women don't realize is it's just like if you live long enough, you see things come and go, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, it's just about working on who you are.
Hmm. Yeah, and really, like, as we talked about, like, choosing what truly feels best
Yep.
for you.
Yep. Absolutely. So I like to end every interview with a little pop quiz.
Okay.
So, um, I'm going to ask you some questions and you just say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay. So, what is a movement or workout that always makes you smile?
Dancing.
Mm. What song is on repeat on your workout playlist?
Ooh, that is a hard question because I feel like I have so many songs on my workout playlist. Um, One that's been on repeat lately I don't know who it's by, but it's a song called Booty Work, which I feel like is self-explanatory.
I love it. Okay, so favorite comfort food that diet culture would side eye.
Ice cream.
A fitness myth you wish would disappear forever.
That if you're not sore the next day, you didn't work hard enough.
Best compliment you ever received that had nothing to do with your appearance.
Anytime anyone says that I'm inspiring, it always like
Ah,
warms my heart.
absolutely. What's your personal mantra right now?
My personal mantra. What am I been saying lately? Uh, I've been working on patience, of letting things come in the time that they need.
I love it. That's great. So, what's one thing you wish every woman knew about their body?
That it is so, so good.
Something your younger self never believed you'd be doing, but here you are.
I think like dancing and speaking publicly.
I know. Look at you go.
I
Okay.
know.
What's the boldest thing you've ever done in business?
When I opened my brick and mortar studio back in 2018, and on the flip side, when I closed it in 2022, both of which were like the biggest, boldest moves I did.
That's amazing. So, finish this sentence. I feel most powerful when.
When I'm lifting weights.
Really? That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So I think that every woman in America and around the world needs to hear your voice.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you so much for coming. And if you're listening and you would like to find out more about Courtney, you can find the information down below. And we will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.